Fred Richani and Scott Anderson. We are TSC News. We're here live on YouTube to recap WWE Payback, the Payback pay-per-view. It is April 30th, 2017. We just witnessed the destruction of Roman Reigns for the most part, although I'm a little weary of what's coming next. Scott, what's going on, man?
Not too much, Fred. Yourself?
Doing okay. A bit of a long, busy weekend. I'm prepping for an upstate trip. I was going to grow up my beard a bit, but I got a little wild, and then I saw a pic of Jinder Mahal with his beard all jacked up with his veins, and I just said, I'm not worthy, so I had to trim it up a bit.
Apparently some of the ladies like that look, so keep that in mind.
Right, although I don't have the veins.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That is true, and Braun the Strowman, in his second attempt to vanquish Roman Reigns, sort of, was successful. In what was nearly a squash match, Braun the Strowman pinned Roman Reigns clean in the main event to win the feud, for now. Presumably challenged Brock Lesnar for the title, for now. And he pinned Roman Reigns, took the steel steps, slammed him on Roman's chest, gave him a running power slam on the steps. Roman was bleeding from the mouth. I'm assuming it's that fake blood they kind of use with Roman and Triple H, if you remember last year.
I do, yes.
Yeah, where it was caught on camera that Byron Saxton handed Roman like a blood packet or something. Because, I mean, let's face it, these guys aren't really allowed to gig. You know, I think if shareholders found that out, they'd be a little weary. So, hey, honestly,
Matt Hardy did, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm all for fake blood. I'm if anything to actually make this product look more real while keeping it safer, I'm fine with. It's better than having Brock Lesnar elbow you in the freaking head and, maybe or maybe not giving you a concussion like Randy Orton back
Randy Orton might want to wish he had that concussion right now, but that's a whole another subject as well.
Yeah, well, he might just not want to remember this next month of his career.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, God. But we will get to that. But yeah, afterwards they had Raw talk, and Roman's saying he doesn't want an ambulance. He spits on the wall, the blood, whether it's fake or real. I'm assuming it's fake. And then Braun tries to attack him at the ambulance, but Braun, with pure rage, runs through the door of the ambulance into a pile of boxes. Yeah. And then Roman...
was that those Home Depot boxes?
Yeah.
Because they were just sitting there when Bray came back to the arena, and it was kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's what they were for.
I shut my TV off. I didn't see this. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they were for. And so, afterwards, Roman hit Braun a couple times with the ambulance, and he just kind of, and I guess Braun didn't cower away. He kind of backed away and just walked a bit, or just went out of the camera shot, and Roman's just like, oh God. And he was taped up. And I'll say this, for a guy that hasn't been a great babyface seller, more so I think because of the look with the vest and everything, as opposed to him being a bad wrestler, I gotta say Roman Reigns did a hell of a job tonight selling his injuries and putting over Braun Strowman.
He did, yeah.
And those guys also had another awesome match. Not as great as their Fastlane match in a sense that, this is more of a squash, but this was still an awesome match, a worthy main event of a pay-per-view. And Payback, for the most part, I thought was actually a really good show outside of the horrendous, the useless, the terrible House of Horrors match, which should be called House of Horrendous because it was just brutal.
Match placement I wasn't a fan of with the, 4 title matches going on back to back to back to back, but... or 3 title matches, whatever it was. Other than that, it wasn't bad. I mean, it kind of was what it was. It was a show, but it was decent. No storyline. There was one storyline that I guess will go on from this, but other than that, it was kind of good matches, decent matches. I think, like I said, placement was iffy on some of them, but
Crowd was hot too. I liked the crowd though because they were hot. They crapped all over the House of Horrors match, which I thought they should, because it's just. Seriously, it was garbage. It was a complete waste of time. Although the bright side is, if you were in San Jose that night, if you were in attendance and you ate a bad bowl of chili and you had to, go do your thing, you had some time during that House of Horrors match. So I guess there's always a bright side to everything, right?
Well, I think doesn't California have legalized marijuana? So that might have helped as well.
I don't know if it helps with the stomach. I can't say if
not with the stomach, but just enjoying that match.
True. Actually, you're right about that. Although I don't know if it's allowed. Yeah. Although I don't know if it's allowed in the arena, but you never know.
Because that's going to stop people.
True.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off with the opener. on the pre-show, we had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Club, taking on Big Cass and Enzo Amore. This was a Raw match. Enzo rolled up, Gallows, the bigger guy. The smallest guy rolled up the biggest guy, which I found amusing.
Yeah.
And got the pin.
Yeah, nothing great. They did not use Enzo as a club, as they usually do, pardon the pun, or not pardon the pun.
Yeah.
So he didn't get tossed around. And he had the Dookie emoji on his backside pants, which was kind of awkward.
He's had that before, but it's never less awkward.
But it's just weird.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys would like us to answer any questions throughout this recap, it's a rapid recap tonight, feel free to just comment below on YouTube, tweet us at Sports Courier, Instagram at TSC News, or Facebook.com/The Sports Courier. And if you're watching and enjoying this, please feel free to click the like button, share this with all your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We had Miz TV with Finn Balor in his awesome leather jacket and popped collar like he's Kanye West in 2004. He came out. Miz made fun of him for being too small, for the Balor Club being stupid, because all the people that are in the crowd are failures. They need to relate to a failure that is Finn Balor. And before, I was really feeling bad about Finn, right? Because he's had a concussion, he had the shoulder injury. But when Miz was reminding us that he won titles in Japan and Mexico, longest reigning NXT champion, and he won the Universal title within the first month in WWE, I thought, you know what? He's had some bad luck lately, but overall, that's one hell of a career.
It definitely is.
Like, when you think about it, I mean, the guy's in his mid-30s, and he's already had a great career. And what I liked was that they acknowledged the fact that, hey, he wants his Universal title back, and he wants to challenge Brock Lesnar. I was really happy about that. Some people may say it's not believable for Finn Balor to face Brock Lesnar. Well,
I'm one of those people.
And you are one of those people, and I'm going to remind you over the last few months, okay? You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do right now in real time. Here's what I'm going to do, Scott.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to look at the list of champions. WWE champion.
Yes.
In the last year, we had Dean Ambrose.
Yes.
A man that rarely wears pants, and Randy Orton. And the guy that tries to sell you the Funhouse admission in the carnivals as your WWE champions. Okay? Your current United States champion...
Well, we had Kevin Owens as well.
Your current United States champion carries a list and wears sparkly spandex. And by the way, I'm not insulting any of these men. I'm just pointing this out. Okay?
And he has a light-up scarf.
Yeah. Your former U.S. champion is a chubby man with a beard. Okay?
Not anymore.
Well, I said former.
Yeah, but he shaved the beard.
Well, he had the beard.
So I'm just clarifying things.
United Kingdom champion is Tyler Bate, who might be my height.
He cannot even legally have a drink in the U.S., but, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. So
NXT champion's Bobby Roode.
True, but, you know, he's kind of...
So you're saying these are kind of more average guys. Is that what you're getting at here?
No, what I'm trying to say is that it's wrestling, and at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter what a guy looks like on the surface. It's how they're presented. I mean, Miz actually in real life probably has an awesome physique compared to the average person. And when you see him on Total Divas, he actually looks really good. You know, but compared to, you know, Jinder Mahal, for example, or Randy Orton, you know, his physique pales in comparison. But why did the Miz get over the last, you know, year or so, outside of this recent stretch of jobbing and getting his ass kicked? Because he was presented well. And Finn Balor, at this time, is still undefeated on the main roster. He's still been relatively protected. He still looked good. It's kind of ridiculous he didn't wrestle on this pay-per-view. I mean, to be relegated to a pre-show, that's kind of ridiculous.
You know what? Considering he's coming off that concussion, I know he's had a couple matches, but reality, he didn't do much with them. I'm okay with it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. So thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. But for the most part, he's still relatively protected. And you know what? You got a random, obscurely named WWE Raw pay-per-view coming up in July in Dallas, Texas, which is set to be the site of Brock Lesnar's first title defense. And on one hand, I do think it should be Braun Strowman. But on the other hand, considering Roman Reigns was able to sort of fend off Braun Strowman on Raw Talk, based on what Jeremy is suggesting and predicting, which I think is correct, which is yet another match between Braun and Roman at Extreme Rules, where you better believe Roman's probably going to beat him at Extreme Rules. If that is the case, then it would make sense
to do Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. It would also make sense to do Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar to get it out of the way so you don't have that whole lingering thing of, oh, why haven't they given Finn Balor's immediate title shot? Why did Finn Balor not get a title shot? Now,
yeah, but then you're basically just using Finn Balor as a stepping stone till SummerSlam, because odds are he's not going to win. And they're going to go with Braun or Roman versus Brock at SummerSlam. So you're basically just putting Finn out there as a bridge, which isn't necessarily a good thing either.
True, but, knowing Vince McMahon, would he use Braun as a bridge to Finn versus Brock?
Well, exactly. That's the whole point, though. You're kind of stuck either way. True.
I mean, look at this. Like, at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar's so believable that he could beat any superstar on the planet. So I'm not really worried about, like, put it this way, there's no shame in losing to Brock Lesnar. I just think it's how they're presented. Like, for example, when Roman got his ass kicked at WrestleMania 31 against Brock Lesnar, I thought that was a hell of a match, even before Seth cashed in.
Yeah, no, it was. It was done very well.
Yeah, and I thought it made Roman look really good. Whereas when Brock wrestled Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania 32, and Dean just got destroyed after 1 F5, that I thought made him look bad and kind of sunk him to a different level. So it really all depends. I mean, Finn could lose. I'd try to avoid, suplexing him too much and harming his shoulder. I mean, from that standpoint, I do worry. But I worried about Randy Orton last year. And Randy Orton's a much bigger guy. And that was before I knew
we see what happened to him. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that was before I knew they were going to do the stupid shoot elbows thing. And actually, didn't Randy come back from a shoulder injury or a neck injury? I think it was a neck injury.
Yeah, it was an injury. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
You kind of, darned if you do and darned if you don't, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar's a bigger star than almost everybody in the main roster right now. So if he beats these guys, I don't mind it too much. Again, it's just the presentation. For them to just outright avoid Finn versus Brock, I'm not feeling that. So we'll see.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. But it was nice for Finn to acknowledge that, hey, Brock Lesnar has my title. I'm not afraid of him. And I'm going to go after him. So that is good. Made him look good. And afterwards, Miz insulted him some more. Finn said, I'd normally kick your ass, but you're not worth it. And Miz, being the great heel he is, got so offended that he is not worthy of an ass kicking. So Finn
Finn said that, I'm not going to end this show like every other Miz TV with you getting your ass kicked. Yeah.
And so Finn finally was like, all right, you know what? Okay. Hit a sling blade, hit a drop kick, and just posed, and that was that.
You kind of feel bad for Miz getting his ass kicked like that in front of his wife, but,
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is.
He's a great heel. I really wish they'd protect him some more. I mean, my God. I mean, it's one thing to have himself for Finn, but to me, a guy like Dean Ambrose, who recently beat him up multiple times over and over.
He was nowhere tonight. Wow.
Yeah, and Dean Ambrose, to me, has lost so much momentum. And I think you and I have talked about it before. I feel like Dean, for whatever reason, is just lacking something in the ring. Now, far be it from me to call a guy lazy, right? I'm not there every day.
I mean, he goes through the motions, he does wrestle.
It's hard, it's hard for me to believe that a guy who's worked as hard as Dean Ambrose is lazy. But I think either he's banged up and he just works really light, or just something's missing. I don't know. Maybe he's not feeling his position. Maybe he tried to grab that brass ring and they gave it to Roman. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just married to a beautiful woman and Renee Young, and he's got his money and he's just happy and he doesn't want to get hurt. And look, I'm not
200 plus nights a year. How do you go full steam every night? It's tough, and
Yeah, and you know what? When you bring and Scott, this is why I love you and your fast facts, which you could catch every week on TSC News TV on MNN2, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. If I'm not mistaken, hasn't Dean wrestled the most matches out of any WWE superstar the last year or two? Like statistically?
Yeah, and he's never been injured. Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be tough, You're basically, to a degree, he carries the company, and yet, look, they gave him a title, and that's all well and fine, but they give him, cheesy lines on TV, and it is what it is. I mean, you can't be hyped all the time, and you went back to Brock Lesnar last year. I mean, he wanted to do things Lesnar didn't. You saw that on that awkward Steve Austin podcast, and really, ever since then, it's kind of gone downhill for him when you think about it.
Yeah. I know, that it's like the curse of the Austin podcast.
Yeah.
Man.
But there's a rumor it could come back for one special person, so we'll see.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah. The rumor is that they want The Undertaker to appear on it, and if they do, then the podcast will come back. Otherwise, we might not see it.
Oh, okay. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens there.
Yes.
We had the opener, which was Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. This is a pretty good match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a blowaway match, but it was a really good opener between the two. And the winner of this match would remain on SmackDown Live. Or, well, in the case of Jericho, he'd go to SmackDown Live. And, of course, the U.S. title was on the line. They did the spot earlier, which was the same as WrestleMania, where Kevin Owens literally got one finger on the bottom rope. Jericho was pissed, smashed up Kevin Owens' hand, ended up locking in the walls of Jericho again later, and believe it or not, Kevin Owens tapped out, and Chris Jericho became a 2-time WWE United States champion.
Nobody's tapped out to the walls of Jericho in like 8 years. That's what makes it kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean...
He tapped out because his finger hurt. Think about that.
It was awesome. And then afterwards, Jericho went out of the ring, was celebrating with the fans of Jericho, and there's this little kid with the list. And this was awesome. And Jericho took his Sharpie, wrote KO on the list, hugged the kid, gave him a high five. This was such a cool moment.
Didn't he tell the kid you just made the list as well?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that kid's going to have that memory for the rest of his life. So that was pretty damn awesome. We also had Neville versus Austin Aries. Good match for the Cruiserweight title, but a very, very crappy finish. Neville grabbed the ref, got DQ'd. Lame. Just lame. Anything else you got, Scott?
Lame, but it works as far as, keeping the title on Neville and keeping Aries chasing it, because once Aries wins the title, that's it. I mean, there's nobody else at this point. This division is just, unfortunately, it's garbage right now, and there's just nothing they can do with it.
Damn. And now, hang on. Garbage not in terms of wrestlers. You mean garbage in terms of characters? Yeah,
I mean, look, the wrestling is good. The talent's good. It's just they don't do anything with it, And these guys are they're so talented, and yet Vince has them. It's basically just regular wrestling with guys who are 205 pounds and under. There's nothing special.
I would agree outside of a couple of guys, but yeah, I think
every now and then you see a move or two, and you're like, "Wow, this is awesome." But look, nobody watches it on the network. The crowds at 10 o'clock at night, or depending on where they're filming, 9, 8, 7, they're just not into it. It's the same 7 or 8 guys every week. That's the other issue. There's no depth at all. And, you have Aries and Neville, and that's it. Then the drop-off is there, unfortunately. And we've talked before about different guys like Grand Metalik, and, where's he been? And Tajiri now apparently isn't going to stay with the company, and he's back in Japan. And, yeah, I mean, they're missing something. I don't know if they need to, put, Hideo Itami there, or, even Finn Balor at this point, or somebody. But it's not good. And like I said, I mean, once Aries wins the title, then what do you do? So you have to kind of prolong this as much as you can.
I think, all right, you know what? How about they just push these guys like the Cruiserweight Classic and just show video packages like they did in the Cruiserweight Classic before every match, and just kind of do that and just let these guys wrestle. And I don't know. I think
for the same reason that now Shinsuke Nakamura is called the Artist on SmackDown. It's the same thing.
As in, you're saying it makes no sense.
Right. You change up a character, you change up things just to do it, and it makes no sense. I agree. Why not let these guys do this?
Like Arya Daivari being a rich guy, and all of a sudden Jinder Mahal is a rich guy again?
See, I actually think Arya Daivari has the best theme music in the whole WWE. I love that music. But yeah, it's dumb. These guys have no character. They just go out and do a couple moves and whatever. I mean, Jack Gallagher, what happened to that guy? Back a couple months ago, he was hot, and now he's just kind of like a guy. Rich Swann kind of there. T.J. Perkins is like a heel who's kind of going to be played the fool, and Tony Nese and his abs are doing their thing. But yeah, I mean,
they need more smaller guys that can carry themselves like the stars, like Aries and Neville can.
But they won't work. They're not allowed to work that style. It has to be the WWE style, and that's what's hurting that division. These guys can do so. I mean, look, Neville and Aries and all these guys can do so much more, and they're just not allowed to do it.
True, but you know what? I do feel like that if the Cruiserweight division wasn't around, Neville would be stuck,
Oh no,
losing to Bo
absolutely.
Dallas, and Aries would be getting his ass kicked. Like I feel like
It's good in a way for that, but yet
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On one hand, it gives the guys like Aries and Neville a real spot, and I feel like it also gives the opportunity for a lot of guys like Jack Gallagher, who honestly I would have never seen in WWE a couple of years ago, and to a lesser extent, I think it's helped pave the way for guys like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne and all these dudes.
I mean, even T.J. Perkins, you would never have seen him.
Oh God, I would have never expected him in WWE when I interviewed him several years ago. At the same time, I feel like a lot of the best wrestlers in the world right now, especially on the independents, the guys that WWE has their eye on, are a lot smaller than the guys of the past. Maybe not so much in terms of physique. I mean, some of them are, have good physiques like Ricochet, but they're not tall guys.
No, they're very, under 6'1", under 220, yeah.
And considering one of the biggest stars WWE had, lucked into, and Daniel Bryan was only like 5'8", 5'9", and by the standards of the Cruiserweight division would have been placed in this division. I mean, in some ways, I would think that would discourage them from creating one in the first place. Even though I love the Cruiserweight Classic, just because, if a small guy like Daniel Bryan, in the eyes of Vince McMahon, can get over and sell merchandise and everything like that, then why wouldn't you just, push the guy? It's weird. In a way, it holds you back from truly pushing the best guys, because in any other promotion that's a little more open-minded, that doesn't have a Cruiserweight division, Austin Aries is a main eventer.
Yeah, I mean, why not just do what they do with NXT? Pre-tape it. Do it like that on the network. Let these guys, let Triple. I mean, we know Vince McMahon has his hand in everything, but let Triple H do what he did with the Cruiserweight Classic, and just let it do it like that. Why does it have to be live? I mean,
I don't know, man.
Just do it in a small venue and do it.
By the way, JB says a Grand Metalik is stuck on main event, which
he has been on main event, yeah, and he's doing the 200 seat venue NXT shows, but
better than nothing, I guess. We had the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Decent match.
Rough match.
My God. I like Sheamus a lot, but somebody needs to tell this prick that it's a work.
That had to be.
It's a work.
I don't want to say an accident, but he.
And like the accident where he gave Daniel Bryan his career-ending concussion, like the accident where he concussed some other dude in the past. He's been rough with a lot of guys. I mean, at the end of the day, if nobody says anything to him, it's whatever, and things happen in the ring. But Jesus, dude, you kick Jeff Hardy right in the face and he loses his tooth. Like, come on. Ugh.
He's now broke anyway.
In more ways than one. So the Hardys ended up winning the match, and then Sheamus and Cesaro turned heel afterwards. I thought that was pretty awesome. They beat the hell out of the Hardys, destroyed. I think it was Matt or Jeff's arm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff's arm.
Jeff's arm, and. Yeah, that was cool, but Jesus, dude, just it's a work.
Now, have you seen the tweet Sheamus put out there?
Yeah, that was great. Toothless and broken. I like that tweet.
Matt Hardy replied.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. Let me grab it here, and I will tell you what it says, unless somebody can beat me to it, because I'm just not that fast anymore in my old age on the internet. But yeah, basically they're setting up the Broken Hardys angle.
Nice.
I would assume this is supposed to be what the Revival were supposed to do until, Dash broke his jaw. So
yeah, which another guy, and God bless Hideo Itami, I'm a big fan of his, and I know he's been the victim of some botched moves too.
Oh, there it is.
But Jesus Christmas, dude, like take it easy.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Didn't he kick Dash right in the face, and that's in the jaw, and that's what broke it?
Yeah. Matt Hardy's reply was, "You obsolete hetericks have no idea what you've done." So here we go.
All right, here we go. I'm just saying, guys, wrestling's a work. Like, just take it easy.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes in the heat of the moment, it happens.
Yeah, it just happens more often than not with a guy like Sheamus, unfortunately. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the women's title. Alexa Bliss rocking the old school NXT Iron Man gear. Loved it.
Good match, but bad placement on the card. This match should not have gone on at 9 o'clock when it did.
Why?
I just think it could have went on later, especially in Bayley's hometown. Oh, which reminds me, since, I'm the guy of odd facts, I forgot to mention this in the Cruiserweight match, but you do realize that at WrestleMania and at Payback, these guys, Neville and Aries, both went on at about 5:30 local time. So that's kind of just funny.
That's a funny random fact, man.
Yes, it is.
So they had a really good match. I thought this was the best match of Alexa Bliss's career, by far. And really good match. Alexa Bliss was awesome as a heel. Bayley was selling very well. She had an immaculate tan. And, yeah, the crowd was going nuts for the hometown girl Bayley in San Jose, California. But ultimately, it was Alexa Bliss using some heel tactics, but more so just getting some good luck in the context of the match to get the win, because she launched Bayley into the post, which now has like that big LED thingy. Bayley hit head first, and then she hit a DDT and pinned her 1, 2, 3. I didn't like this only because Bayley's in her hometown. She came off as a huge star. I know it's heel heat, but I feel like it's such cheap heel heat, and they do it so often with people in their hometowns that, if you do it too much, it just doesn't mean much. I mean,
but it's the way they did it, though, which made it, it was clean, but it wasn't clean, and it was okay.
It was all right. I mean, it was still cool. I'm happy for Alexa Bliss. She's a great character. She's much better on the mic than Bayley and Sasha Banks, that's for sure.
Well, you go back to the brand split, what would the odds have been that, Alexa Bliss is the first woman to hold both the SmackDown and Raw women's titles? Because
she's been awesome.
That's amazing.
I mean, she's not great in the ring, but she's just the other
something about her.
Yeah, the facial expressions, the heel mannerisms, the look, like everything, it makes up for it. So she's been awesome so far, and I'm happy for her. But
the outfits,
but I would have preferred Bayley winning the match, keeping the title, and maybe doing a loophole where Alexa, like a barely part of Alexa's foot is underneath the rope. Just something that Alexa can bring in on Monday that brings heel heat in a rematch.
It looked like a surprise finish because it was like the DDT, the pin, and everybody's like, "Oh, she won. Okay, cool."
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Man. All right, we had. Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt in a House of Horrors match. This was filmed like a higher budget Final Deletion with the Hardys, only like maybe 5% as good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is like when you order something on Amazon.
Nightmare. Yeah.
This is like when you order something on like Amazon and it looks great, and then you get the box and it looks like crap. So
this is also, I tweeted this out. This is what happens when you come up with an idea for a match, and then a week later you take one of your main participants out and you put them on a different show, and you still have to figure out how to do it. Because I think if they would have had until May at Backlash, this could have been much, much better. Mm-hmm. And then when you announce the match has to end in the ring, it kind of is like, what? Like, why? It just doesn't really work.
Yeah, and then the WWE title was not on the line. Of course, Randy Orton did not have his title because Jinder Mahal attacked him last week and stole the title.
For about 10 minutes, I forgot Orton was even the champion.
Yeah.
I totally forgot, yeah.
There's been a terrible title run so far.
Yeah.
So Randy's in an ambulance, or not, I'm sorry, in a limo. Although he might be in an ambulance now after hallucinating after what's happened to his career the last couple.
He was
of weeks.
in a limo dressed as Corporate Kane.
Yeah, he had the Corporate Kane ensemble. He had the black slacks.
They were
pads.
Jeans, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought they were slacks, but they were jeans. He had the elbow pads. Yeah.
He was shirtless, oiled up, and then he gets out of the car. The car drives away. He sees Bray in the house. Oh my God! And what's hilarious is it's pitch black outside. Keep in mind, this took place like 9 o'clock local time.
San Jose, California.
9:30 local.
6 p.m. local. Yeah, 6 o'clock local time.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
It was still sunny in San Jose, California on West Coast time when this match took place.
You know what? Can I spoil it for people and tell them it was still sunny in Missouri where the house was when they filmed that? Like, my God. Just horrible.
Just absolutely terrible.
These are the little details, Fred, that I think I've talked to you about years ago that WWE needs to pay attention to. And there's another little detail that I don't want to get to, but I will when the match gets to the arena in a little bit.
All right, and here's another thing, okay? Have you ever seen True Detective?
No.
Okay. I won't spoil it for you.
Go right ahead. It's fine.
Okay, the first season featured a boss battle. I'll just leave it at that. And to the best of my recollection, the big boss battle, which featured one of the scariest freaking characters I've ever seen in a series. I'm talking about season 1. Season 2 was terrible. This was with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. It took place in the daylight. But the house itself was dark and scary and had like this scary basement, and it was insane. Anybody that's watched True Detective knows what I'm talking about. It was just a ridiculously scary house. There's no reason why this couldn't have taken place during the daytime. Just have the house look like whatever. Find an abandoned home. Make something
You know what
happen.
they should have just used the house Randy Orton burned down and did it there.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Something. So this was terrible. Just terrible. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, I think didn't the fridge say "We're here" on it?
It might have.
When they're brawling in the kitchen. It was too well lit of a haunted house, that's for sure.
And then
way too well lit.
After Randy gets the refrigerator dropped on him, Bray's outside, and somehow, some way, Bray has the house lights changed from blue to red. So whatever.
And then he goes outside, goes to the limo. Driver, take me to the arena.
I tell you what, it's a crappy limo service when the driver doesn't even open the door for you.
Yeah,
I
agree. We had Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Really good match. Not the great match you would expect. I feel like that's been kind of the story of a lot of Samoa Joe's matches in NXT and on the main roster. He's still a great character, but I feel like a lot of his matches have been really, really good. But I can't say I don't know if there's one that I could say was a great match. Can you?
Is safe the word to use, kind of?
No, because you can have a safe, great match. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the age or whatever. And again, he's still a great performer.
Maybe it's just the WWE style that we were talking about with the cruiserweights.
True. Yeah, he's still getting the job done. But there's
he's kind of just a guy. That's the problem.
I don't think he's just a guy. I think fans do react to him.
He's not what he is. Well, the fans react to him, but I don't know. Something's missing.
Yeah, maybe it's just a different setting. I mean, you look at how many times did he wrestle Nakamura? Did him and Nakamura ever have a great match? And you would think those guys would have had a killer match.
They were good matches. I mean, they were 3-4-star matches, I guess, but nothing over the top.
Yeah. Whereas at least Bobby Roode and Nakamura, I think, had that great match in the last TakeOver. I thought that was an excellent match.
Maybe Joe and no. I don't know.
It's just weird. Again, it's nothing against his work. I don't think he's. I did think in NXT though he was noticeably slower, and it might just be all the injuries and age and everything else. But when he got on the main roster, he's definitely had more fire since being on the main roster. I don't know. Maybe it is safer style. I'm not sure, but I feel like it never got to that gear that you would expect, like the old Samoa Joe. But then again,
not yet. Anyway.
Maybe the old Samoa Joe is now just old Samoa Joe, and at the end of the day, old Samoa Joe is still better than most of the roster.
Or could it be that, old Samoa Joe almost, cost Seth Rollins another year of his life and he had to tone it down maybe?
True. That is true.
I mean, you don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, good match. Joe dominated for a while, locked in the Kikina clutch. Seth Rollins reversed and got the pin. Joe looked shocked. Not bad at all. The only thing I don't like with the Seth Rollins matches is that he keeps, quote unquote, injuring his knee.
I was just going to say that, too. Is it time that we stop that?
And yet he still has to get his moves in. What a stupid babyface. I injured my knee, so I'm going to go for a frog splash where I land on my knee.
Yeah, and it's been a month now after Mania. Do we have to keep talking about it? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I hope they move on from this. And Seth Rollins, another guy that could challenge Brock Lesnar next. In July. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton Part 2. This was completely useless. Orton shows up. They had a brawl. Bray entered the ring first, and when the lights came on, Randy was behind him.
I actually thought that was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool, but it was nothing. I mean, it was nothing. They brawled outside for a bit. The Singh brothers, a.k.a. the Bollywood Boys, Jinder Mahal's stablemates, came out, attacked Orton, got beat up, and then Jinder came in with his immaculate wardrobe, hit Orton not once but twice with the belt that he stole, and then Bray hit a very sloppy-looking Sister Abigail, got the pin, 1, 2, 3. Crowd just shrugged. I think I heard some people in the crowd say, "Thank you, Jinder."
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Jinder Mahal, for the first time in his career, got a real, genuine reaction that was of positive note, and they walked off, and he raised the title, and I'm kind of liking this new swagger of Jinder Mahal. I think you and I talked about it before, maybe off air. I really like his swagger. I just can't help but think that this is the same guy who also was a jobber over the last year. I can't get over that. I wish they would bring him up slowly. I wish he would have won the U.S. title or something. I feel like if they gave him a winning streak and had him squash a few geeks, that he would really get to the point where he'd be over enough to at least challenge for the title. And instead, I feel like this.
Well, they're making it kind of believable with the Bollywood boys there, but yeah, I mean,
I think what they should do is just maybe I don't know.
get it,
I
but
think that you know what I think they need to do. I think they need to at least do some type of sit down interview with him and ask him like what's changed. And in storyline, I think his character needs to say, you know, when I was almost winning the Andre Battle Royal and when I nearly beat Finn Balor on Raw, it reminded me that I still have the ability to be the best in this company. And yes, I've had some bad luck. Yeah, yes, my head wasn't in the game, but I'm focused, I'm ready, and the fact that SmackDown, you know, thought enough of me to bring me here, I'm going to make the most out of this opportunity. That's all he has to say.
well, they have 4 weeks to do it.
Yeah.
You would assume they're going to do it. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the House of Horrors and Bray Wyatt was just a bridge to Jinder Mahal, which, fine, whatever.
We'll see. I mean, look, I get a lot of Indian fans that watch our show here, and a lot of them have said, you know, they're really happy for Jinder. And look, I'm happy for him too. Guy worked hard, did his thing. I've never been the biggest fan of him, but he's taken this opportunity. He's running with it, but he's got his work cut out for him. Randy Orton's got his work cut out for him, you know?
Well, you assume they'll have a couple of house show matches just to kind of warm up and see where they're at.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jinder did have a match with Cesaro a couple months ago that wasn't that good, and it's almost impossible to have a bad Cesaro match.
Yeah, but he had a couple matches with Finn on house shows too, so
yeah.
I don't think they were horrible.
Yeah,
We'll see.
We will see.
And hold on, let me get to my last attention to detail that I really don't want to mention. But it is what it is, Fred.
All right.
Say what you want. I know that I have somebody that's going to tweet me this, but whatever. Look, Randy Orton did not have the exact same outfit on in the House of Horrors as he did in the ring. I'll just keep it at that. It's a little thing. Look, I pay attention to detail, and that's a detail. I'm sorry, it is. He somehow miraculously changed his underwear from the time he was in the house till now. It is what it is. It's a detail, whatever. But let's just, move on. I'm just saying. He did. Say what you want about me, but he changed its details, and it does matter in the end, when you can't detail everything up correctly. That's all I'm saying. And, also, Randy Orton probably should have had some marks on him from, like, a freaking refrigerator falling on him.
Didn't he have? I thought he had some, little,
I didn't notice anything on him.
I noticed he was a little red in the chest. I don't know. But, yeah.
Whatever. Moving on.
Moving on, and then, of course, we had our main event where Braun the Strowman attacked Roman, beat the hell out of him. It was a really good match. And
for Braun.
Yeah. And then afterwards, they had the deal on Raw Talk, and
oh, real quick, did you notice that when Roman was being helped out of the ring at the end of the match, people were chanting, "You deserve it"?
Oh, yeah, God, yes, I did. Poor Roman. I don't think people should... I don't think people should be chanting, "You deserve it" at a babyface that just got his ass handed to him.
Thankfully, at least Corey Graves did not go, "Roman got buried in this match," because that would have been horrible considering what happened to his brother just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give WWE some credit for that.
Some credit for avoiding poor wording. They should.
Yes, again.
Yeah.
But I think they should have had Roman on the stretcher and Braun should have tossed him off the stage again. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. Maybe he'll do it tomorrow night.
So on the good side, they keep Braun strong. Roman loses, and I hate to say thank God, but thank God they didn't have him win, being beat up like that. And, we'll move on. So.
I think Braun should challenge Brock Lesnar for the title, and I would actually like to see Braun beat Brock Lesnar for the title. You could always.
I think it would have been better if Goldberg didn't beat Brock back in November.
If it was Braun.
Well, yeah, no, just because Braun could destroy Brock, and it would have been awesome. But now you can't have Brock get destroyed by Braun and by Bill Goldberg.
No, but he doesn't get destroyed. You just do a battle of behemoths, and just something has to give, and Braun just beats him, and then you do a rematch, and that's it. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that at all. And I think, honestly, if Braun beats if he beats Brock Lesnar, I think that'll mean more when Roman Reigns eventually beats him.
Who beats Brock?
Beats Strowman, I mean.
Nah, maybe. I don't think WWE knows what to do. I think they should have had Brock come out and do something. Somebody should have came out.
But you know what, though? They're presumably going to hold off Roman versus Brock until WrestleMania, so I don't see them touching for a long time, my friend.
I know, but that's I don't know.
And look, Brock's got enough challengers right now lined up that he could stay away from Roman. You got
he
Braun.
has 2 challengers
You got
lined
Braun,
up. That's
you got
funny
Finn,
until WrestleMania.
Braun, Finn, Seth, maybe Samoa Joe.
Not Seth. No.
Why?
I don't know. We already saw it. It didn't work.
Yeah, but that was a different dynamic. But you could still do it. Yeah, Braun, Seth, Finn, and Joe. That's plenty.
No, WWE probably somehow Sami Zayn. Why not? I know he's on SmackDown, but whatever. It's WWE. Like, it matters. Jinder Mahal's on SmackDown. He showed up tonight.
You're just grumpy, Scott. You're in a grumpy mood tonight.
I am very. Look, I was busting my ass all weekend. I picked the wrong weekend to go to my parents and finish putting a roof on their shed. It was not a good weekend for that. I am very tired. I have not. I'm just very tired. I'll sleep.
All right.
No,
cool.
I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, Seth and Brock. Like, I don't know. Like, Brock is such a polarizing figure that. I know it's wrestling. It doesn't have to be believable and this and that, but I don't know. It's something about it. Like, this is the one time I agree with Vince McMahon where, the big guy needs to go against the big guy. Like, it just doesn't work otherwise. But with that said, if you have Braun Strowman beat Brock, then in theory, who the hell's going to beat him? Because it's not going to be Finn Balor if he couldn't beat Brock. So.
Oh no! I think you could do a deal where Braun Strowman and Brock trade the title. And you keep him busy for a little bit, and I think that'd be cool, and it'd give Braun some credibility, and then eventually he can lose to Roman, before like WrestleMania or something, and Roman Reigns can go on and challenge Brock.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just that whole like you built Brock up to be this monster mega guy, and like I don't know.
And he loses to a guy who's also a big monster and mega guy.
I'm a big Finn Balor fan. Don't get me wrong, and and all that. I don't know. The way they use Brock, I don't know how it would work. Like, it has to be somewhat believable, and to me, that just can't be believable. I don't know why. And I hate to say it, but I can't buy it.
Well, I think that's also the problem with the booking overall, because not so much in regards to Finn, but everybody else. They've really only protected 1 or 2 guys over the last year that are full-time, and that's Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. And everybody else has kind of been there. I mean, AJ, to an extent, was also protected.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple guys here and there, but not... There's, they still have their moments where they do some head-scratching decisions. Like, for example, Baron Corbin, they sort of protect him, but Baron Corbin still lost clean, every now and then. And to me, it's like if Baron Corbin eliminated Braun Strowman at the Royal Rumble, he should have stayed undefeated for a while and won the IC title already.
That would have made sense.
Instead he just loses to Ambrose and loses here and loses there. And I'm not the biggest Baron Corbin fan, but I'm just saying. I mean, he eliminated Braun Strowman from the Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It doesn't make sense. That's what I mean. Maybe that's the issue. Like, they're not doing anything to make it believable. And I just can't see the build up to where, 1 week Brock gets the upper hand and the next week Finn gets the upper hand.
Maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe just call it what it is.
But it's WWE. That's what they do. It's not about, they don't need to. Of course they don't need to, but that's what they're going to do. Did you really need to put Roman Reigns in an ambulance and have Braun Strowman flip it over? No, but
that was awesome.
What they do. Oh no, absolutely. That was great. But do you need to do it to build up that match? No, but that's what they do. They do these dumb things to build up things.
That was awesome.
No, that was awesome. But I'm saying in general,
you know what was dumb?
Things that build up,
a dumpster match where Braun loses right before the pay-per-view main event and then throws Kalisto 3 feet over.
Okay. Well, keep in mind that when the Big Show lost to Cody Rhodes in a table match, it was kind of the same thing where he put a foot through the table and lost.
Yeah.
So,
true, but it wasn't right before a pay-per-view main event.
No, but it was for a title.
True, that is true. All right, let's get some comments before we get on out of here, because I think you and I both need some sleep. Skydoll Sky says, what matches should I go out of my way to watch? Main event was good. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss was good. Jericho Owens was pretty good. Joe, I mean, it was a perfectly fine show to watch. I think it was a decent show to watch. Just you could skip House of Horrors because it was just horrible.
Actually, you might want to watch that. I don't know.
Maybe.
She likes some things that not everybody always likes. So
yeah,
that's my buddy. But truth be told,
Zip Away asks, what do you guys think about the Vince McMahon movie and the script that has leaked out? Which
I did not see the script.
I saw some tweets from, I think it was like Court Bauer, and then Dave Bixenspan was tweeting some screenshots of the script, or at least like I guess like the initial script. And all I gotta say is that it included Hulk Hogan and Linda McMahon being portrayed in certain lights that I don't think they'd want to be portrayed in. Which, by the way, if Vince McMahon has final approval of the script or any kind of say, I mean, that's going to be changing. Let's face it. I mean, you're not going to have the head of the Small Business Administration currently in this country be in a movie where she says the phrase "butt stuff." And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm serious. That was an actual tweet from David Bixenspan of that script. I kid you not.
Butt stuff.
Yes.
Who is she talking about?
Apparently,
that's
this was a scene where she's comparing Bob Backlund to Hulk Hogan, and she said that Bob Backlund is not like, I guess I'm paraphrasing here, is not attracted, is not the type of guy that women want. Whereas Hulk Hogan, you'd want to try stuff with him like butt stuff.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You know, the sad part is you could probably see Linda saying that back in her day in a random conversation. No disrespect at all.
I don't know about that, but I'm not. Whatever. I'm not.
Look, you've seen what Vince McMahon's sick mind has done in the past. I mean,
yes, but Vince McMahon's not the one protected by the Secret Service.
No,
I don't want to have this.
That's so odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it is odd. It's bizarre. It's probably nonsensical, and I really don't want to be arrested right now by the Secret Service.
Can we delete this? And like Sid Vicious once said to Gino, come on, let's just do this again.
Yeah, we're live, Sid. Yeah,
we're live. Yeah. So.
Exactly. What I think about it, I think no actor is going to be able to do Vince McMahon justice. I think it should be like Private Parts with Howard Stern, where
it'll probably be Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's what it should be. But since it's not,
knowing Vince McMahon, it'll be John Cena.
Maybe, but you know what? I just feel like it's going to be watered down, and it's going to be WWE-ized, and with WWE Studios involved, it's just, they're going to make Vince McMahon look like the most nicest guy and badass guy.
You know who would have a great person to play him? Oh, I can't think of his name. I know the actor, but I can't think of his name.
Where's he at? Where he
was in the movie Seabiscuit. You remember that movie?
Tobey Maguire?
No. He was the trainer.
Dude, that movie's so old. I have no idea.
He was in I can't think of his name. I'd have to look it up.
Just look up IMDb while I'm reading.
I'm doing it well. Yeah, you keep you know. Let's plug MNN and I'll look it up.
Okay. Okay. Jeremy Bauer says Samoa Joe has to be one of the biggest examples of Triple H needs to stay the F out of some guys' careers. I don't think so at all. I actually disagree. I mean, the guy's on the main roster. He did well in NXT. He stayed well in NXT for way too long, but honestly, he gave a good buffer before the main roster in a sense that at least he got Samoa Joe helped get Samoa Joe over with the WWE audience. So that way, when he got called up, Vince isn't like, God damn, who's this pudgy guy? At least, he's been in main events. He's been protected for the most part. I mean, this is literally his first loss since arriving on the main roster a couple months ago. I don't think it's that bad. I think if there's somebody that had a bad run-in with Triple H from a creative standpoint, it was Curtis Axel. Whew.
You know, you said his first loss on the main roster. He's only had 4 matches.
No, he's had more. I mean, he had...
Has he?
Couple
with
matches,
Sami Zayn and Jericho.
Couple matches with Jericho and Sami Zayn, a few tag matches. Actually, no, he did lose the tag match again the day after WrestleMania, but he wasn't pinned.
Okay, the guy I was thinking of is Chris Cooper, by the way.
Okay, so. I have no idea who that is.
You would if you've seen a picture of him, trust me.
Okay.
Anyway.
Mr. Racer 1029, Fred, are you going to watch The Wall? I don't think so, but I think I'm going to watch Game of Thrones, which features The Wall. Okay. Do you think LeVar Ball should be a heel on WWE television? Yes, Alan Wu.
My God, yes.
Dude, Jeremy, you want to talk about a guy costing somebody's career? For those that don't know, LeVar Ball is a failed former athlete who happens to be the father of some ridiculously talented kids in basketball, including a kid named Lonzo Ball, who played for UCLA, who was a top prospect.
Top prospect.
Yeah, expected to go top 10 in the NBA draft, maybe number 1. And for the last 6 months or so, this guy has been on every single major sports talk show, just talking up his son. Called him better than Steph Curry. Called him better. Said he could beat Steph Curry. If for those that don't know, aren't familiar with Steph Curry, he's like the John Cena, Roman Reigns of basketball right now.
He also said that he himself could beat Michael Jordan in his prime.
Yes,
so.
1-on-1. He's just said some. Just look up LeVar Ball. It's ridiculous.
He's a nut job. The guy's a nut.
He's ridiculous.
Man.
And these
he's
kids,
a heel, huh?
and these kids being young, like they can't. I mean, they can't. I guess like Lonzo could say, "Yo, dad," but at the end of the day, the kid's 19 years old. 18, 19 years old. He idolizes his dad, but his dad is just going everywhere talking junk. And recently, Lonzo had the opportunity to get endorsement deals worth several millions of dollars with either Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour, which are the big players in sneakers. And they all rejected Lonzo because LeVar Ball wanted to promote his Big Baller brand and have a partnership.
LeVar Ball also said that he should be the first one with $1 billion shoe contract. And the reason he won't get it is because he's black. And that was actually his words.
This guy, I mean, this poor kid, he's probably going to still be drafted in the NBA. He's probably still going to make several millions of dollars. But if he struggles, oh my God.
The rumor is he only wants to play his dad only wants him to play for the Lakers.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And if he struggles in LA under that pressure on top of his dad's pressure, my God, this kid. You know what? Sometimes you got to just. This is a time where the kid's got to become a man and tell your dad, shut the F up. Or you got to get an agent who's willing to tell his dad, shut the F up.
Well, you know why LeVar Ball is like this, right, Fred?
Why?
He played for the Jets.
So he has a false sense of bravado?
Exactly.
True.
See, I can say that.
Yeah, you can.
So.
So to answer your question, Alan, yes, LeVar Ball would be a phenomenal wrestling character, but he is an absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible public relations guy for his sons. I mean, terrible. He might be a great father at home. God bless him. It seems like he's raised his kids very well. But he himself, freaking clown, and I hope I never see him on my TV again or in the news or anything else again, unless it's on WWE.
Although, Alan, let me just tell you, you know who the biggest heel of the whole weekend was, Fred?
Who?
Drew Pearson.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
From the NFL draft.
The Dallas Cowboys great. For those that didn't watch the NFL draft, the Cowboys legend Drew Pearson, came out in front of the Philly crowd. The NFL draft is in Philly. It was like Roman Reigns level heat after WrestleMania. And of course, it's the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. And this dude just cuts a scathing promo, putting over the Dallas Cowboys in the heart of Philly Eagles country.
Calling them 5-time champ. It was
amazing. Look it up. That is how every heel should troll an audience. It was great.
But didn't Jesse Armstead come out then and try to do the same thing as with the Giants, and it didn't quite work? I mean, he still got booed, but it just wasn't as good.
Pearson was great. Pearson was just, was awesome. Yeah. He was like Miz on the mic. He was awesome.
Phenomenal work. All right, we a little off topic there, but I just want to mention that.
Steel Empire says put both world titles on Orton. Did somebody jack Manpreet's account and these they make another one? Because Manpreet's a resident Randy Orton fan, and only he would say that. Okay, Mr. Racer says, Fred, I'm Indian and I don't want Jinder to win the title. But you're also a huge Randy Orton fan, so maybe you're the wrong person to ask.
It's not that Jinder. You got to understand why they're doing this, and I think he does, and I think everybody does. It's a marketing, reason. They're, doing some things in India.
It's such a lazy market. It really is lazy, though.
It's easy, but again, it's India where it's just a different crowd. I mean, these people look at the Great Khali like a god.
Yeah, but but Great Khali to a lot of people looks like a god. I mean, you see the Great Khali. There's a reason the Great Khali was over as he was. You know what I mean? It wasn't just he happens to be an Indian guy and he wrestles. Like he had something. He had a presence.
Oh, absolutely.
He carried himself well. He was terrible in the ring, but he was a freak athlete. He was a freak athlete. He had a freak physique.
He was an attraction.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, you got to have something. And whether it's your look or whatever, you got to have something. You can't like Rory McDonald in the UFC. Rory McDonald never became, and granted, Rory McDonald never, I think, won the big fight in order to be UFC's next Canadian star. But either way, he was put in a position multiple times, and he just never clicked with that UFC audience like George St. Pierre did. And people could say, well, George St. Pierre's too boring and he's respectful and he won by decision, all this stuff. But George St. Pierre had a charisma about him. He had an it factor about him that, frankly, as much as I like Rory McDonald, who's now going to be fighting in Bellator, he did not. And so, just because you're trying to cater to another audience from another country, it's like WWE trying to push a guy from Mexico. And then in the case of Kalisto, I actually do think he could be their next big Mexican star. But you have to push them the right way. You have to bring them up. You can't just bury a guy for a while, flip the switch and say, oh, we're going to push this guy, and then blame it on the guy for not getting over. To me, it's like it goes both ways.
Well, he was former U.S. champion. I mean,
yeah, and then what do they do with him after that?
Exactly. But
and what are they going to do? They're going to find another Mexican guy that they're going to try to WWEize, and then they're going to say, oh, we just can't find the right Mexican guy. Well, in reality, there's plenty of talented Mexican wrestlers, such as the people they have on the roster right now, that can get over with Latin America if you give them the opportunity, and if you're willing to actually do some case studies, like they do the stupid social media numbers and that don't mean anything for their bottom line and blah, 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 okay? Why not actually do some real case studies about what Latin American fans want, okay? About what's hot in India right now. What's the scene in Bollywood? What's going on? What's hot there, right? I mean, something. Try.
Well, I don't think that,
and I think they are trying. And when I say half-assed, I'm not saying they're not going full steam with Jinder, because they obviously are. I'm saying half-assed in terms of planning, okay? If you want these regions and you want these people from different countries to respect you, okay, you got to respect their time and you got to respect their intelligence, okay? Some guys, you can just flip the switch and, okay, they had that factor all along and maybe they just weren't showcased. It's very rare. Other times, you need to actually build the guy up a little bit. Just saying.
Well, you know what I don't like is Jinder, he's been back for like a year, and all of a sudden now he starts to wear the turban again because WWE has to do that. They have to have the guy who hates America.
Which is stupid.
Why can't it just be an Indian guy, a bad Indian guy, a bad guy who's an Indian who just wants the title? Why can't they just do that?
And how am I supposed to hate a guy as a Middle Eastern, South American man, American, of course? How am I supposed to hate a man who promotes diversity? That's heel heat? Diversity?
It doesn't make sense.
Diversity is supposed to be heel heat now? Jesus, Christmas. Oh. Man. All right. Ugh. Anyway. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know where we go from there. I guess we'll answer a couple more questions. I got carried away.
Oh, but...
Okay, in my opinion, Alexa's match was the best for his career. Yep. And okay, we'll take one last question here. Dreamer, aka Skydoll Sky on Twitter, says, wait, Scott does Fast Facts? Well, I love you, Sky, but that tells me that you have not watched TSC News TV yet, which is quite disappointing, and I'll have to mend my broken heart, but I'm sure you'll watch it.
But hold on, I'll defend her. It is 6:30 in the morning where she's at.
True, but
there's a but, yes.
There's a but.
She can't watch it live.
Every single episode of TSC News TV that airs is available on demand right here on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/thesportscourier. Now, for nobody that knows what I'm talking about, okay, recently I got some great news over the last month that TSC News was going to have a half-hour version of our podcast on Manhattan Television. It's on a network called Manhattan Neighborhood Network. It's on their lifestyle channel, MNN2. It airs all throughout northern New Jersey and the New York City area. If you're in that area and you want to catch the show, it's Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you want to watch it live but you don't get that channel in your area, that's okay. That's okay, because you can log on to MNN.org, or you can just download the Livestream app and search MNN2, which Scott showed me how to do, because he is, of course, very, very savvy. And for those wondering, it airs on FiOS 34, RCN 83, and Time Warner/Spectrum Cable channels 56 and 1996. But, there's always a but, for people like Skydoll, who are awesome, who are in California, which obviously wouldn't get a network that's based in Manhattan, you can get this show for every single Friday morning, youtube.com/thesportscourier. We have a playlist right on our front page, TSC News TV on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. We've had 6 episodes so far. A lot of people say, Fred, why aren't you doing interviews anymore? Why aren't you doing some features anymore? Well, guess what? We brought some back. I just had Ring of Honor Wrestling's Ian Riccaboni, commentator for Ring of Honor. He was freaking awesome. We talked about the upcoming War of the Worlds pay-per-view in Manhattan that I'm going to be attending live on May 12th. I just had Paul Lazenby, a longtime guest of TSC News. For those that don't know, not only is he Steve Austin's professional stuntman, but he's worked with The Miz in the Marine series. He worked with The Miz on Supernatural. He just appeared in Supergirl. He was in Deadpool. And he plays Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War 4. Like I said, I got you covered there. There's just been a ton of guests. Of course, Scott, you're on the show every single week.
On
doing
video,
your fast
too.
facts. Yes, on video.
On video.
If you want to see Scott on video doing his fast facts, you got to check out TSC News, our TSC News TV show. We also had Will Ferrara of Ring of Honor on. We've had exclusive highlights of our interviews with Mick Foley, AJ Styles, Austin Aries, Dan DeBee Severin, Mark Coleman, Rampage Jackson, King Mo. I mean, the list goes on. And this coming week, we're going to have a boxing edition of TSC News. And how ironic, we're just coming off of that incredible 90,000 seat event. 90,000 fans packing Wembley Stadium. Joshua versus Klitschko. Down goes Klitschko. That was, Scott, did you watch that fight? That was freaking awesome.
I did. It was a great, the whole, the heavyweight division's been down, but that was a great fight. And if they can somehow get Joshua versus my guy Deontay Wilder together, my God, that could be a battle.
It was great. For those that say boxing's dead, I laugh at you. But if you want to check out TSC News this coming week, TSC News TV, I interview boxing legends Jerry Cooney, Ray Mercer, Fernando Vargas, and I talked to a longtime TSC News guest, Tony Schultz, who is the former sparring partner of Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach, who also was a former promoter with Golden Boy Promotions and Top Rank, which are the two top promotions there. He also came up on the circuit around the same time Floyd Mayweather did, who may be fighting Conor McGregor. We talk about Floyd versus Conor, the state of boxing, much, much more. So yes, to answer your question, TSC News is on TV, but if you don't get it in your area, it's available the next day for everybody right here every Friday, youtube.com/The Sports Courier. I'm going to say it again, youtube.com/The Sports Courier every freaking Friday. And if I do say so myself, it is some of the best work I've done in my career. So if you guys enjoy my work, if you guys enjoy these recaps, I would appreciate it if you would check them out, like them, share them, do what you got to do. It's a half hour of awesomeness. And yes, the bonus is you get Scott Anderson on camera. Anything else to add, Scott?
Nah, I appreciate that.
All right.
It is. No, look, in reality, it's definitely worth it. Check it out, please. There's plenty of platforms to do it. And we'll keep doing it for you.
Yeah, and we'll also be uploading all the podcast versions of that show as well on soundcloud.com/TSC News, and which you could also get on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, you name it. Folks, we're going to get on out of here. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe for more updates. We're not only going to have wrestling updates coming up, but boxing updates, MMA updates, obviously. Of course, the NBA playoffs, all the fallout from the NFL draft. So, with that being said, until next time, as always, enjoy the matches.